Right, thank you everybody for joining us today. We have Melanie here with Manhattan Strategy Group to give us a presentation on a job offer opportunity. So Melanie, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So what I wanted to do, guys, is kind of give you an idea of what we do on the project, allow you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. We think that this might be a really good fit as an additional piece of business for the type of work that you're already doing. So within our system, we do already have a number of notaries that work for us and do this type of work for us. So we'll just start out. Manhattan Strategy is the group that I work for. It's the company I work for. And our company tends to engage in projects that have social value, like this project. So this project does have a very high social aspect in terms of the nutrition and, ensuring that nutritious foods are available throughout the country. We are an active partner with USDA, so we help them with decision making and enhancing the project and enhancing the program. And many of our team members and reviewers out in the field actually have quite a few years of experience on the project. So myself, I've worked on this project for about 22 years. We have several reviewers who have almost as much field time, so it's the kind of thing that you get involved with and you tend to stick with it for a while. So SNAP is the project that we're working with. It's the government agency that we're working with, a branch of USDA. It's the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And so as most of you probably know, it's the food stamp program. And their job is to ensure that there are nutritious benefits available to needy families and in those communities where, nutritious foods are sometimes more difficult to come by. They do work, the FNS and SNAP work with state agencies, educators, neighborhoods. We work with those stores. So that's the part of the project that we're involved in. So what we do is we go out and we visit stores that USDA has requested information for. So a store visit is an unannounced visit to a location where they've either applied to start accepting SNAP benefits or they currently already take SNAP benefits. So there may be either a new authorization going on or a random reauthorization going on at a store. So the purpose of our visit is to give FNS the ability to make decisions on these stores that are applying or renewing their applications. As a reviewer, you would be collecting data and taking pictures of the business, and we give you a really specific photo checklist to follow. Your job is to create an objective snapshot of the store. So you make observations, you take photos, and we submit that objective information to USDA, and they use that for their decisions. The information collected is used by USDA to make decisions about SNAP benefits in stores. So the way this process would work is you arrive at a store. These are done completely unannounced and unscheduled. You're going to have an ID that would be issued to you by MSG. It would show that you represent both the USDA and Manhattan Strategy Group, and you would introduce yourself as you present that ID. We do ask that reviewers have business casual dress. So you want to look professional. You want to look like you're representing a federal agency. You would give the store a printed letter of introduction. So that explains who you are, why you're there, and what you're going to do in their store. So every store will get one of those letters of introduction. You're going to ask for consent. So we can't tell them that they have to allow the review. We ask for their permission. In almost every instance, they are glad to give you permission to conduct the survey. Participation in the program is voluntary. And these stores do want to be part of it. And then you're going to ask some survey questions. And most of them are not real complicated. It's things like, do you have any storage rooms? And how many devices do you have that take SNAP? Do you currently accept other benefits like WIC, things like that? So the questions are pretty simple. That'll be about 10 to 15 minutes that you'll spend interfacing with the store contact. After that, you're going to walk around the store and collect the data and the photos that you need. So you're going to make some notes about the key products and services that they have available for sale. You're going to draw a pretty basic sketch of the store layout. So literally they have 2 aisles and some coolers and counters around the perimeter of the store. And you're going to take that 60 to 70 digital photos. Back home, you're going to take this handwritten sketch and create some kind of computer generated sketch. We do have a couple of templates that we offer in Paint and in Excel. So the idea is that USDA wants a nice computer sketch as opposed to a handwritten one. You'll key in that data that you've collected if you didn't use the mobile upload process. So a lot of this information could actually be keyed in on your mobile device while you're in the store. So you can go either way. You can go old school and do things on paper and upload the reports when you get back home, or you can do a lot of it straight from your phone. And that would include uploading your photos. So the easiest way to get your photos attached to your report is to do it right there on the mobile app on your phone, since that's probably what you'll be using to take your photos. Typically, you're going to be in a store 60 to 90 minutes. And depending on whether you use the mobile upload functionality in the store, that time spent at your desk back at home might be anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to, scream out, interrupt me, whatever you need to do. We send out assignments, so you'll be notified by email anytime we have an assignment for you. An assignment is typically a grouping of 1 to 5 stores that in most cases are going to be very geographically clustered. So we'll send that out to you. You typically have 5 to 7 days to get that assignment finished. You also have the option of rejecting or accepting assignments. So if for some reason you're not available, can't do that particular assignment, you do have the option to reject it too. And remember that these visits are done unannounced and unscheduled. It's, hey, surprise, we're here. So it's easy to schedule those with other work that you have going on. The store visit process is that you accept the assignment, you kind of plan your route, check the store hours. So we do provide the hours of operation to you so you know when it would be feasible to go out. Some stores are only open Monday through Friday. So you want to be sure that you're, going out when the store is open. Prepare your required documents. So print your paperwork, particularly that letter of introduction that you have to leave a hard copy behind. A signed consent form is always going to be required. Now, the other paperwork, the other forms become optional, especially as you get better at this, because you can use the mobile upload process instead of doing everything on paper. You go visit your stores and you're going to upload those deliverables. Some things that may make this a really good fit for you guys. As I mentioned, there's a real feel-good aspect to what we do. We help USDA ensure that communities everywhere have access to nutritious foods. The hours are flexible. You set your own schedule, combine these with other work that you're doing. Store visits can be done weekdays, weekends, mornings, afternoons, evenings, as long as the store's open for business. And we typically encourage people to do these during daylight hours. So running around at 7:30 at night when it's getting a little iffy and dark outside is probably not the best plan. You get to set your own travel radius. So you tell us, what areas do you already cover? Well, let's give you work within that area so that the work that you're doing and the trips that you're making are more worthwhile if you can do a store visit or two while you're already out there. As I mentioned, the visits can be done any day of the week, anytime the store is open, with a few minor restrictions. So we can't be in stores after 8 o'clock at night. That's really about it. Like I said, we encourage daylight visits, 5 to 7 days to get those assignments done. We do offer a good flat rate pay per report plus travel compensation. So per completed report, it's a $55 fee. And then your mileage would be 62.5 cents a mile after 25 miles round trip. So as an example, if we gave you an assignment that was 125 miles round trip, you'd be paid for 100 of those miles. So we consider the first 12 and a half miles to be local drive. Anything outside your local drive is going to be compensated. This really comes into play when you can get 2 or 3 clients in one area, and you get to bill us for mileage, and you get to bill another company for, a flat fee for travel or whatever. So the double dipping is really, again, one of the things that works well for people who already do this type of work. This is a long-term project. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for a little while. So it's something that you could do for quite a long time to come. And I did want to mention something else that we have an option for. So a lot of our reviewers have the option to also work from home as quality control. So the way it works is field reviewers go out and conduct the store visits and turn in their reports. And then someone reviews that report before we pass it on to the client. So we do have opportunities within our quality control team as well. If you would be interested in doing some of that clerical editing, sit and look at your computer during the day in your jammies kind of work. Most of the positions that we have available are 1099 independent contractor positions. In the states of California and Massachusetts, we are required to use our reviewers and have them be part-time employees. So you would actually be a part-time employee of our company if you lived in one of those 2 states. We pay by direct deposit by the 15th of each month for work that was completed in the prior month. The amount of work that you would get will vary. In urban areas, so New York City, Detroit, Los Angeles, Miami, in those larger urban areas, we have a pretty high volume of work and it's pretty steady. In fact, there's a couple of areas that if you wanted to, we could keep you busy full time and then some. In more rural areas, there wouldn't be as much work. So if you live in Billings, Montana, probably not going to be paying the rent or buying a new sports car with this kind of money. To do the jobs, we do ask that you have a few pieces of basic equipment, a high quality cell phone or digital camera to capture your photos. So generally anything that's less than a couple or 3 years old is going to take really, really good pictures. You do need to have a printer or the ability to print the forms. Again, especially that letter of introduction and consent form that you will always need a hard copy of. Computer or a laptop to create your sketches, submit your reports, and daily access to email and voicemail. So if you are interested in joining us, I've got the link here where you can go online and apply. There is a slightly separate link for those part-time employee positions. And you can also follow up with me afterward. So once you've submitted that little contact form, send me an email and we'll be sure to get your application moving along even quicker. If you'd like, when you're filling out the contact form, there is a place that says, hey, how did you find out about MSG? And if you could put, Notary Professional Services or Marcy as who referred you so that we know where you came from, that's really helpful for us. So I know I've talked a lot, probably fast. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they wanted more information about?
This is Laura. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. First question is, when can one start? Like how long before the process to be able to start?
So that's a great question, Laura. We have people who actually can get their whole enrollment process done within 2 or 3 days. So if you were ready to rock and roll and you wanted assignments by Monday or Tuesday, we could make that happen. What happens from here is you do the contact form. We're going to ask you for a couple of test photos because the photos are so important to these reports. I got to make sure that you can take a good picture. So once we get that done, we send you access to our tutorials. So those are all online, self-study, self-paced. It's just little short videos that explain how these store visits are done, what to do in a store visit. Once you finish those, you would take a quiz that shows you somehow managed to stay awake and pick up a little bit of information from them. We would send you your enrollment paperwork and you would be good to go after that. Now, we do also strongly encourage you to attend a live orientation. So usually a couple of times a week, we're going to have these orientation sessions where there may be anywhere from, 2 to 12 people that are trying to get on board. And what that session is kind of a Q&A. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable with everything that you've looked at and seen.
Mhm.
And it gives you that opportunity to ask us any final questions before you go out there and hit the field.
Okay, are those sessions, I'm in Yonkers, New York, so
Are
are
those
they
Zoom meetings?
the live sessions, they're gonna be in person or it's gonna be Zoom?
It would be on a Teams meeting and in Yonkers. So interesting that you mentioned that. That is one of the areas that if you're willing to cover the Bronx and maybe even some of Manhattan, we could keep you real busy. Even Connecticut. Now, it kind of depends on what your current coverage area is.
Okay. Definitely Bronx, depending on where it is in Manhattan, because
Right.
Manhattan is very vast and the parking issue.
Yep.
That's the other thing. Do y'all guys say if there's no street parking and you have to pay for parking, is that reimbursable?
It is. What we would ask, Laura, is that you just kind of give us a heads up if you're going to incur that expense, so that we can kind of make a decision. Same thing goes with, crossing bridges, that if you're going to incur a toll, let us know that, because we may need to make a decision to send somebody from a different direction and
Okay.
maybe avoid that cost.
Okay. So there'll always be a contact number that we can reach out and get someone.
There's going to be so many phone numbers, you won't know what to do. We give you all of our direct cell phone numbers, and we also have a 24-hour answering service.
Okay.
So if you're in the field and you have any questions, you need help, you need support, they're being mean to you, anything, you can call us.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Kelly, and I was wondering if you could put the information from that slide where it had I was wondering if you could put that in the chat.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Of course.
And
Hi,
maybe
Kelly.
go over the pay again.
I was just going to ask about the pay as well, as far as like the quality control, the work from home piece. What's the fee on that?
Okay, so if you were interested in doing the quality control piece, the work from home, couple of things. I would like you to sign up as a reviewer and at least go out and do a review or two, because that will make the quality control piece make more sense. So most of our quality control people go out and do a store visit, at least once a month to keep fresh. It's not a glamorous job. It pays $18 an hour. It's completely work from home. Even better, you can work whenever you want to. You can work in the middle of the night. You can work in the middle of the day. You can work on weekends. Your hours that you work are unlimited. I like people to work at least 20 hours a week, again, to stay very engaged. But that is kind of a bottomless pit of opportunity in terms of how many hours you can work. So there's always a lot of work available in that part of the project.
Is that still considered 1099, or is that then hourly?
It's paid hourly, but it is still considered 1099. So you
Okay.
would just submit an invoice for the hours that you work.
Okay. And then I do have a question about the travel. So if it's 1 to 5 assignments, so for the mileage piece, how does that work if you do all of the assignments in one day? Is it from home to each individual assignment, or do you go from one dot to the next dot to the next dot to the next dot back home?
So when we send you an assignment, we usually do expect that it should be 1 day's worth of work. Now, as an independent contractor, you can split it up and do it as 3 different trips, because maybe you're going 3 different directions with other work, or you can do it as one. But our agreement is that whatever the mileage estimate for the most efficient store to store, home, store to store to store, we'll pay you the mileage for that. So we're not going to pay you to break it up and do it as 3 pieces, but you can. So yeah, we're mapping it from home to each of the stores and then back to home. And the only deduction there is that 25 miles of commute.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, this is
Lisa.
Valerie. I have
Oh.
a question as well. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I have an interest also in the quality control piece. Do you require a certain number of review visits before transitioning to the quality control piece?
Not really, one or two, and that's going to depend on where you are, Valerie. So, you know, if you're in South Dakota, it's going to take 6 months for you to get 2 store visits usually. So we're not going to make you do a lot of store visits, especially if you're out there. I would like you to do 1 or 2, again, just to get an understanding of that
Right.
process. Now, another thing that I do require of QC is that you have a multiple monitor setup. So at a minimum, pardon me, you need to have 2 monitors, preferably at least 1 big one, hooked up to your computer. And the reason that we do that is when you're QCing these reports, you've generally got the text of the report on one side, on one screen, and you've got your photos on the other screen so that you can compare and make sure that there's that, you know, match up. We've got the photos that back up the data in the report.
Okay, yeah, I have 2 monitors, and I'm in Atlanta.
Okay. Also a very
that?
good area, very busy. Are you within the loop, or what part of Atlanta are you in?
I'm in the Lithonia area, Stonecrest, Conyers, I guess.
Okay, so
east, I
north,
guess.
right?
Yeah, north. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I just moved to that area. Just moved out of like the Marietta area. So yeah, that's the general area. I mean, and I think it's probably a good area for that service though.
Yeah, so most of the store visits in your area will occur within Atlanta City, you know, within the city proper. So that's just something to be aware of because of the oh so fun traffic in that area.
Yeah.
But we do have store visits, obviously, even in the area where you live.
Okay.
Okay. Lisa, it looks like your hand is up.
Yep. The question I have is, can you explain a little bit as to why Massachusetts makes you be a part-time employee and not 1099?
It's just the labor laws in those 2 states are a lot more strict with regard to 1099s. And so those 2 states particularly don't see this type of relationship as an independent contractor situation. So both of those states require us to use employees rather than independent contractors. And, you know, no offense to anybody from California, but, you know, California is a little different anyway.
Okay. I live in Massachusetts. That's why I'm just wondering, because I do 1099 work right now as a notary. So
Yeah, they're a lot stricter in those 2 states. And so just to avoid any potential complications, we just go ahead and establish an employee relationship in those. Now, the issue that we have in California and Massachusetts is that you would be limited to 25 hours a week maximum in order to maintain that part-time status.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
2 more
Mel-
questions. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Laura. Melanie, with the QC process, so if the QC reviewer finds that there's either insufficient photos or lack of something, like, how does that work? Do you have to go back out and obtain the information at no cost to you, or, you know, no pay, or how does that work?
So if you are an independent contractor, that's correct. If you miss a photo, if you miss information, you do have to go back at your own cost. Obviously, if you're an employee, we're required to pay you for all the time that you work. So you would be compensated if you were an employee. The thing that I recommend and really try to drive home is that we give you a photo checklist. Listen, if you screw everything else up and you just get all the right photos and good photos, you'll never have to go back to a store. We can fix anything if you've got the photographs of it. But the problem becomes if you miss the photo of the walk-in cooler, if you didn't get a photo of the storage room, if your photograph of the checkout area is blurry and someone's running through the picture, there's nothing we can do about that. And we do have to have, you know, a better photo.
Okay, thank you.
Great questions, guys.
This is Robin in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh my gosh, I love you already, Robin. We could really use somebody there. How far can you travel?
I travel a little bit. What happens in the event you go and introduce yourself in the store and they say this is not a good time, and then they would like you to leave?
So
Are-
if you're
I-
speaking to the owner or manager and they say this is not a good time, that's a refusal. And what you will do is you'll call one of us, and we require this anytime you have an unsuccessful visit. So if you can't find the store, if they're not giving you consent, you call us. And again, we've been doing this for a few minutes. I can usually convince a manager or an owner that it's in their best interest to let you do your job.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, this is Laura again. Is there a setup or sign up fee?
No, absolutely not.
And then what credentials do you need besides being compliant with your New York State notary? Do you need EIO? Do you need background check? Like, what else do you need?
So currently we're not doing background checks. That is something that I believe will be starting. Our new contract year is actually October the 1st. So we will probably do some form of background check starting October the 1st, just because we're going to a newer, higher security level with everything. We don't need anything with regards to your notary. We
Okay.
may ask just for you to say, hey, I've got insurance and, a driver's license.
Right.
No, really nothing else. I mean, we're going to ask you for a voided check so we know where to send your money. We're
Right.
going to ask you for a photograph so we can make you an ID. It's a pretty simple sign up process.
Okay. And then with the framework of the 60 to 70 photos, is there something that says, oh, you need to take a picture of XYZ? So that
Yes,
we'll know that we're taking the appropriate pictures.
that's right. Not only does the photo checklist say take a picture of XYZ, there's little clues on it that say, listen, in photo X, it should be this wide and this tall, and you need to be able to see this thing.
Okay. Okay, excellent. And also, can we do this on an iPad?
So you can do it on an iPad. What you cannot do is take photos with an iPad. So
Okay.
yeah, the photos just don't turn out as well on an iPad. We do ask that you use a pretty high quality phone, like at least an iPhone 8, and those are a little iffy. 10s,
Right.
and the newer ones
10,
are
11,
fantastic.
12. Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
This is Robin in Louisville again, Kentucky. When you have assignments in, let's say, the far-reaching areas of Kentucky, do you have, are you able to group them by area so that if someone went, let's say 50 or 60 miles out, they could do several stores at one time?
That's always our goal, Robin, but sometimes USDA doesn't see it that way. So if they don't have a group of stores in an area, they're going to send us what they have where they do need visited, and we're going to group them as best we can.
Okay.
We don't ever want to send you, more than 20, 30 miles to do just one store. We'd really rather you were doing 3 or 4. It works better for us and for you.
Mhm. Okay.
Is it a requirement that you have to be a notary to do this, or can anyone sign up to do this?
Oh, bring your friends, bring your family. As long as you're willing to commit to some deadlines, make your due dates, get the work done that you agree to do. Yeah, I'll take anybody, all comers. We're trying to enhance our field staff right now. So we've got a really great base of about 500 people nationwide, but we find ourselves with gaps, and they order 73 store visits in the state of Iowa, and bless her heart, the one girl that we have in Iowa, a little overwhelmed because the work has to be turned around, within 7 days. So we are looking to kind of fluff up our field staff a little bit.
Are photos required to be date stamped?
No, in fact, USDA does not want that obscuring the pictures. So we would ask that you turn off your date stamps.
Okay.
What else you got, guys?
If someone's to use a digital camera, you have some suggestions of different digital cameras?
So there's a couple that I have found work pretty well. I use a Sony CyberShot whenever I'm using a digital camera. So it's pretty small. I find them to be pretty reliable. There's some little Nikons that are pretty good. I would avoid the GEs and the Kodaks and some of those really lower end ones. If you're paying less than about $130 for a digital camera, you're probably not getting a very good one. But
Okay.
phones tend to be the best right now if you've got it.
Phones? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a phone. Just was curious about the camera.
Mhm.
And you said that was a Sony Cyber Shot?
Right. That's my weapon of choice. I like that one.
And what's the price range on that?
Usually about 120, 130. Now, if you're feeling lucky and you want to hit a pawn shop, you might be able to find them for less than that.
And that will easily upload into the computer?
Yeah. Usually what you do with a digital cameras, you're going to use an SD card, and you should have an SD card reader on your computer, or you can get a USB adapter to do that. And you can load them right up in your computer pretty easily.
Okay.
So when you mentioned the deadline, you said 5 to 7 days. That's 5 to 7 days to complete the store visits as well as turn the report then?
That's correct. And the 5 to 7. So typically when you start out, we give you 5 days because we know that we're going to have to do a little bit more QC work on the back end to get that thing ready. Once you've kind of established yourself, we give you the full 7 days to get your work done.
Could you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Sure. So initially you'll have 5 days to get your reports done. So that includes doing the store visits and uploading those reports. Once you've done a few reports and again, kind of establish yourself, you'll have 7 days to get those assignments turned in.
So for the 5-day trial period, how many jobs do you have to have completed at least within the 5 days?
So your first couple of assignments are going to be probably just one store fairly close to home. So we want to make sure that, we're not sending you 5 stores on the other side of the state. So we'll send you an assignment with one store, and then we'll send you another assignment with one store, and then we'll send you an assignment with a couple of stores. And as long as everything is looking pretty good and you're getting those turned in on time, we'll go ahead and escalate you to the 7 days. So you don't have to do a lot of work to get 7 days. Really, we just want to establish that you're turning stuff in on time and
Right.
that the work's pretty decent.
Right, exactly. Okay, got it. Sounds good.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, so Vanessa put in the chat, if you'll send her an email, she'll get you a copy of the recording. I've put the link where you can go and fill out that contact form. I'll put my email address as well. So if any of you want to follow up with me or let me know that you filled out that contact form, we can get you going. Like I said, just notify me that, hey, I'm one of the notaries you talked to. I want to get this going. I'm ready to start by, next Wednesday or whatever. So, feel free to reach out to me and let me know when you filled that contact form out. All right. Well, guys, if there's nothing else, I'm going to give you about 24 minutes of your life back so you can go start enjoying your weekend. And, again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions or if you think of something later. If you have people you want to refer, absolutely give them that link and have them reach out to us.
And you said they did not have to be a New York State notary?
No, they don't
No.
have to be a notary. Just, what helps is having some kind of field
Business
service
acumen
experience. Yeah.
or business acumen, someone
Yeah.
that knows how to deal with people.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, this
Thank
was just something that we thought you guys might be able to fit into your, since we're going out on signings, if you're going to be in the area, just something else to put in your portfolio. So you're not required to be a notary. We just thought it might be a good fit for notaries that we work with.
Excellent. No, thank you. This is excellent. This works for
All right.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Marcy.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Marcy, Melanie.
All right, I hope you have a great
Awesome.
weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.